So today on Building the Brokerage, I wanted to give you an update of where we're at on the construction behind me in our new brokerage, Redefine Real Estate. We're extremely excited about this. It has been more of a journey than I could ever describe to you guys. I'm 2 years into this thing, between looking for properties, getting one under contract. We actually closed on the building behind me, which is our new brokerage, about 6 months ago. So it took a half a year to get through all the different approvals and architectural drawings and all this different stuff, sorting out builders and everything. So along the way, it's been a heck of a journey. I want to show you guys a quick update of sort of what it takes to do a new business in general, let alone a new real estate brokerage here. Like I said, it's been quite a journey. Along the way, our biggest hurdle so far was the pricing literally doubled. So our build out pricing was literally exactly twice as expensive as when we first priced it out. So because of that, we had to pivot, we had to move along. I already purchased the building and all that stuff. So we had to redo some financing, really dive deep with a handful of different builders and contractors to make our best selection. So I'm very, very excited. We are at a certain phase right now of demolition, okay? And so I figured we could do a quick update as to where we're at with the brokerage now that we're at this demolition stage, and that's what we're here to do today. So it's a little bit tricky, but the reason for this video, the reason for going through all this is really two parts. One is to show young entrepreneurs, people that are thinking about building businesses, that it can be done, but also there's a lot of trials and tribulations, so they know exactly sort of what they're getting into and the different things that can come up along the way. And two, to really show you our story. You know, it's fun to document our story. We have a fantastic team on the Talbot team, and we're moving that team over to Redefine Real Estate. And I think we truly have industry redefining stuff on our team and in our organization. And we're excited to kind of see it at the ground floor here. And you're curious about where it's going to go. So that's the point of building the brokerage. But on today's episode, we're going to show you the demo phase. So like I was saying, we're at the demolition phase here. And behind me, it's looking very ugly, which is the idea. The point of the demolition phase is to actually, of course, demo everything. We've ripped everything out of the building. It's completely blank slate. We took out most of the walls. There's a couple load-bearing walls that need to be supported. That's sort of the next phase, but there is a big awning. If you saw any of the previous episodes before, there was a big ugly overhang with asphalt shingles, and I thought it was horrible. So we ripped that off, and you know, we have a little bit of a decision to make because we have the block on one side and the face brick on the other side. So we'll see sort of how this plays out and what the end result is, but we're popping in some more windows. The design has, you know, our logo here, some nice overhangs on the windows and everything like that. So we'll have to do a little bit of pivoting now that we got the awning off to see really what that face brick looked like and everything. So that should be fun. Out front here, we haven't started any demo, but one of the major requirements through the city when you're doing a project like this is they're gonna really care about specific stuff that affects the local residents, right? So because of the use, we didn't have to do too much planning commission stuff. We're keeping about the same amount of people in the building that were here before. However, if you notice here, the sidewalk was coming through and stopped and didn't continue on. So although the sidewalk kind of goes next door to our neighbors and eventually dead ends at the railroad tracks, the city still has a lot of people walking through here, and so they wanted this piece redone. So we had to get special engineer to re-engineer it properly, where the sidewalk is actually going to jog up here, go along our building, and then shoot back down so we could actually keep the parking spaces. The city required what's called an easement, so a permanent easement through here, where what ends up happening is actually they own this property technically. I have to maintain it, but that was the only way to keep the front parking spaces. So parking is usually really important in city concepts and any commercial type building, so keeping the parking spaces was really, really important. So we had to work on the engineering, we had to redo all this. It like quadrupled the price of concrete and, you know, of the landscaping and stuff we didn't really think we needed in the original budget. So some of these pivots are what happens during projects like this. And if you're starting anything, if you're building a business, if you're doing something worth doing, there's going to be these hurdles, these constant hurdles to get through, and you're gonna have to figure out ways to pivot and learn. The only thing consistent in life, in my opinion, is change. And so, you know, a lot of this stuff is as expected to some extent, and so we still got a long way to go. But at the demo phase, you know, we've already got through a lot of trials and tribulations so far. Let's get inside. So as you can see, it's very dark in here because during the demo phase, everything gets ripped off and and the electricity even gets mostly turned off for a while because they ripped out all the major lighting in here. And so this used to be a couple different rooms over here. These were the bathrooms, and as you can see, we have a big space. The next phase is going to be supporting the ceiling and the roof to make sure we can actually take down some of the load-bearing walls. So a big portion of this wall right down the middle is load-bearing actually. And so what's gonna happen is they're gonna support up top, support the roof and all the weight that it has. And this is actually a concrete roof, so it's pretty heavy. They're gonna support it and actually blow out these walls to create and run a beam to create the support there. So the mason has to come in and do all that. But as you can see, this is sort of like a blank slate. And so there's been a lot of changes since the last time we shot a building, the Brokerage, in here. But when it's all said and done, you will be walking in, and you're gonna walk in, there's gonna be a reception desk here, a closing room here, a couple bathrooms. Like right now you can see on the floor here throughout the concrete, all the orange is gonna be cut concrete. So this is where they're gonna run the water. This used to be, you know, your sewer and main lines over here. Goes out that way where it's all torn up. And so these will be the bathrooms, and then they're gonna cut through the concrete to run. This is gonna be the mop sink, and this will actually be the sink in the kitchen. So, which is kind of interesting. So you're gonna have the closing room up here, a closing room here, the reception desk up there, another closing room over there, and then right here where it says sink, this is going to be facing outwards like a really nice done kitchen, kind of a focal point of the whole space, and the rest of that is pretty much staying open all the way down. And the reason why we're doing that, the reason why we're building this building is not only to fit our office and our teammates and to continue to grow the organization, but we want to do a lot of community events. We want to do home buyer events. We want to do home seller events. We want to do nonprofit events. Have some fun, get people out from the community, get friends, family, past clients, industry people, and come hang out quite a bit. And so that's the point of the event space behind me. And now that it's like opening up a little bit, I'm getting like giddy because I think it's going to be a really cool, fun space, and really nothing like it, to be honest with you. So moving on. Down here, most of this is going to be walled off with offices, a lot of glass and stuff. And one of the most important features that I'm very, very excited about for a lot of the content creation is somewhere in here will be a walled off, large podcast studio. So we're gonna help soundproof a little bit. We're gonna have some cool lights in there. We're gonna get some really good sound to be able to shoot some really custom content and be able to continue to provide value to the community. Also giving our agents the ability to do so and kind of use that space, you know, friends, family, what have you, to be able to use that podcast facility. So most of this wall is coming down. So I'm excited. The next phase is really gonna be as open as you'll ever see it, because a lot of these walls will be coming down, and almost everything was ripped out here. So this wall will be coming down. Most of that wall is gonna be coming down. There's gonna be a giant training room this way that will host about 30 people. So we'll be able to continually coach and educate our agents, our admins, be able to have, like I said, different events. People from the industry come out and have a really nice training space, as well as the event space next door. So for the most part, all the garage doors will be swapped out with glass. There's gonna be a lot more windows in here, and really behind Mike going over this way, this is where most of the magic's gonna happen. This is where our sales team is going to sit, a lot of our internal people. So this is where you're gonna see a lot of the cubicle type spaces in different offices as well too. So we're gonna open it up, get lots of natural light, get the garage doors glass, and really open it up with a lot of windows as well. But I'm really excited about this space as well, because it's gonna allow my team to spread out a little bit. We're a little tight right now. So as we've been recruiting, I'm very happy for the agents that we have, and I'm very grateful, because right now legitimately we have 2 or 3 people sitting in like a 8x8 space, and then there's another 8x8 space, and the rest of it we're kind of pouring into the rest of the office. So we are more than overstaying our welcome at our brokerage. We're busting at the seams, so people are very the people working with us are very patient. And so it's one of the reasons why we're so excited. So stepping outside, I wanted to show you guys this. The light might change it up a little bit, but we good? Super dark in there. So if Mike makes this look remotely okay, I'm just super impressed. On the other side of this dumpster, we really lucked out. So in real estate and in life, in my opinion, you run into these different examples of having an opportunity and sort of like looking at the data and taking a risk. And so when I first purchased this building and looked into this building, next door there was no plans to do anything over there. As you can see right now, it's a little bit of an eyesore. The grass is growing up and needs a lot of work. And I really lucked out because the owner next door happened to decide to renovate it, and I'm putting a good amount of money into the restaurant next door, and they're gonna redo the whole thing. There's There's going to be an event space over there, going to do community involvement and stuff as well too. So over the next year or two, as my building gets finished up, they're going to be working next door. All of this is going to be cleaned out. So again, taking those leaps of faith, taking those risks and hoping, I don't know if you call it manifesting, praying, whatever, hoping that things work out and working really hard to get there. Along the way, what can happen is good things, right? You put yourself in a position to win and good things happen, like the place next door. So shout out to Don. I'm very excited to see what he does over there. He's got some really big ambitions. Sound like they have two really good chefs going in there, master chefs that will be working out of their real fine dining. So I'm excited. We're gonna get some foot traffic. Hopefully we're gonna do some more events here over in Old Village in downtown Plymouth. So we're excited as we're building the brokerage as we're moving forward. So our goal of this channel, our goal of this program on this channel, I should say, is to continue to show you our journey. So we'll give you some more updates throughout the build process. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more trials and tribulations, just like my budget doubling along the way, just like some of the other stuff that we went through as well too. You know, there's been all sorts of stuff, just rechanging the architectural drawings. DTE is months behind right now because of all the things happening in the world. So being able to reconfigure and re-engineer the electrical is a big piece for us. You know, just a lot of little hurdles. Every time you get through one, there's another one kind of coming up. So we'll show you the journey. Hopefully this inspires or motivates or can help teach you guys a little bit of, you know, things here or there, a couple nuggets along the way of what it is like to build a brokerage or to build a company, and hopefully can provide a little bit of value for you along the way.